Bhagavad Gita, text 13, chapter 9. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita vajantaranyamadaso gnatva bhutatim avyayam. Mahatmana, the great souls, too, but mam unto me, partha, O son of Pritha, daivim, divine prakritim, nature, ashrita, having taken shelter of. Vajanti, render service, ananya manasa, without deviation of the mind. Gnatva, knowing, bhuta, of creation, adim, the origin, avyayam, inexhaustible. Translation, O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in divine service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Purport: in this verse, the description of the Mahatma is clearly given. The first sign of the Mahatma is that he is already situated in the divine nature. He is not under the control of material nature. And how is this affected? That is explained in the 7th chapter. One who surrenders unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, at once becomes freed from the control of material nature. That is the qualification. One can become free from the control of material nature as soon as he surrenders his soul to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the preliminary formula. Being marginal potency, as soon as the living entity is freed from the control of material nature, he is put under the guidance of spiritual nature. The guidance of the spiritual nature is called Daivi Prakriti, divine nature. So when one is promoted in that way, by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one attains to the stage of great soul, Mahatma. The Mahatma does not divert his attention to anything outside Krishna because he knows perfectly well that Krishna is the original person, Supreme Person, the cause of all causes. There is no doubt about it. Such a Mahatma or great soul develops through association with other Mahatmas, pure devotees. Pure devotees are not even attracted by Krishna's other features such as the four-armed Mahavishnu. They are simply attracted by the two-armed form of Krishna. They are not attracted to other features of Krishna, nor are they concerned with any form of a demigod or of a human being. They meditate only upon Krishna in Krishna consciousness. They are always engaged in the unswavering service of the Lord in Krishna consciousness. Satatam kirtayanto ma yadantascha dadavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Satatam, always, kirtayante, chanting mam, toward me, yatantaha, fully endeavoring, cha, also dridhavrata, with determination, namasyanta, offering obeisance, cha, and mam, me, bhaktya, in devotion, nityayukta, perpetually engaged, upasate, worship. Translation: always chanting my glories in endeavoring with great determination, going down for me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Purport: the Mahatma cannot be manufactured by rubber stamping an ordinary man. His symptoms are described here. A Mahatma is always engaged in chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord Krishna, the Personality of Godhead. He has no other business. He is always engaged in the glorification of the Lord. In other words, he is not an impersonalist. When the question of glorification is there, one has to glorify the Supreme Lord, praising His holy name, His eternal form, His transcendent qualities, and His uncommon pastimes. One has to glorify all these things. Therefore, a Mahatma is attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who is attached to the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmajyotir, is not described as Mahatma in the Bhagavad Gita. He is described in a different way in the next verse. The Mahatma is always engaged in different activities of devout service as described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing and chanting about Vishnu, not a demigod or a human being. That is devotion, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, and Smaranam. Remembering him. Such a Mahatma has firm determination to achieve at the ultimate end the association of the Supreme Lord in any one of the 5 transcendental rasas. To achieve that success, he engages all activities, mental, bodily, vocal, and everything, in the service of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. That is called full Krishna consciousness. In devout service, there are certain activities which are called determined, such as fasting on certain days like the 11th day of the moon, Ekadashi, and on the appearance day of the Lord. All these rules and regulations are offered by the great acharyas for those who are actually interested in getting admission into the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental world. The Mahatma's great souls strictly observe all these rules and regulations, and therefore they are sure to achieve the desired result. As described in the 2nd verse of this chapter, not only is this devotional service easy, but it can be performed in a happy mood. One does not need to undergo any severe penance and austerity. He can live this life in devotional service, guided by an expert spiritual master, and in any position, either as a householder or a sannyasi or a brahmachari. In any position anywhere in the world, he can perform this devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus become actually Mahatma, a great soul. Text 15. Jnana yajnena chapyanne yajanto mamupasate ekattvena prataptvena bhuda vishwato mukam. Jnana yajnena, by cultivation of knowledge also. Api, certainly, anye, others, yajanta, sacrificing, me, upasate, worship, ekatvena, in oneness, tadattvena, in duality, bahuda, in diversity, vishwata, mukam, and in the universal form. Translation. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. This verse is the summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna consciousness and do not know anything other than Krishna are called Mahatma. Yet there are other persons who are not exactly in the position of the Mahatma but who worship Krishna also in different ways. Some of them have already been described as the distressed, the financially destitute, the inquisitive, and those who are engaged in cultivation of knowledge. But there are others who are still lower. These are divided to three. He who worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord, he who concocts some form of the Supreme Lord and worships that, and he who accepts the universal form, the Vishwarupa of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and worships that. Out of the above three, the lowest, those who worship themselves as Supreme Lord, thinking themselves to be monism, are most predominant. Such people think themselves to the Supreme Lord, and in his mentality they worship themselves. This is also a type of demigod worship, for they can understand that they are not the material body but are actually spirit soul. At least such a sense is prominent. Generally, the impersonalists worship the Supreme Lord in this way. The second class includes the worshippers of the demigods and those who by imagination consider any form to be the form of the Supreme Lord. And the third class includes those who cannot conceive of anything beyond the manifestation of this material universe. They consider the universe to be the supreme organism or entity and worship that. The universe is also a form of the Lord. Text 16. Aham kratur aham yajna swadaham aham aushadam mantro aham evajam aham agnir aham bhutam aham I kratu Vedic ritual aham I yajna smriti sacrifice swadha oblation aham I aushadam healing herb mantra transcendental chant aham I eva certainly ajyam melted butter aham I agni fire aham I bhutam offering. But it is I who am the ritual, and I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestor, the healing herb, the transcendental child. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. The Vedic sacrifice known as the Jyotistoma is also Krishna and is also the Mahayajna mentioned in the Smriti. The oblations offered to Pitriloka or the sacrifice performed to please the Pitris considered as a kind of drug in the form of clarified butter is also Krishna. The mantras chanted in this connection are also Krishna, and many other commodities made with milk products or offering in the sacrifices are also Krishna. The fire is also Krishna because fire is one of the five material elements and is therefore claimed as a separated energy of Krishna. In other words, the Vedic sacrifices recommended in the Karma Kanda division of the Vedas are in total also Krishna. Or in other words, those who are engaged in rendering devotional service unto Krishna are to be understood to have performed all the sacrifices recommended in the Vedas. Text 17. Pitahamasya jagato mata data pitamaha vidyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. Pita, father, aham I asya, of this jagata universe, mata, mother, data, supporter, pitamaha, grandfather, vedya, what is to be known, pavitram, that which purifies, omkara, the syllable, om, rik, the Rig Veda, Sam, the Sam Veda, Yajur, the Yajur Veda, Eva, certainly Cha, and I am the father of this universe, the mother and the support and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier and the syllable Om. I am also Rig, Sama, and the Yajur Vedas. Purport. The entire cosmic manifestations, moving and non-moving, are manifested by different activities of Krishna's energy. In the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who are nothing but Krishna's margin energy. Under the creation of the Prakriti, some of them appear as our father, mother, grandfather, creator, etc. But actually they are parts and parcels of Krishna. As such, these living entities who appear to be our father, mother, etc. are nothing but Krishna. In this verse, the word dhata means creator. Not only are our father and mother parts and parcels of Krishna, but the creator and grandmother and the grandfather, etc. are also Krishna. Actually, any living entity being part and parcel of Krishna is Krishna. All the Vedas therefore aim only toward Krishna. Whatever we want to know through the Vedas is but a progressive step toward understanding Krishna. That subject matter which helps us purify our constitutional position is especially Krishna. Similarly, the living entity who is inquisitive to understand all Vedic principles is also part and parcel of Krishna, and as such also is Krishna. In all the Vedic mantras, the word Om, called Pranava, is a transcendental sound vibration, is also Krishna. And because in all the hymns of the four Vedas, Sama, Yajur, Rig, and Atharva, the Pranava or Omkara is very prominent. It is to be understood to be Krishna. Text 18. गतिर्भर्ता प्रभु साक्षी निवासा शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवा प्रलयस्थानं निदानं बीजमव्ययम्. Gati, goal, Bharta, sustainer, Prabhu, Lord, Sakshi, witness, Nivasa, abode, Sharanam, refuge, Suhrit, most intimate friend, Prabhava, creation, Pralaya, dissolution, Sthanam, ground, Nidhanam, resting place, Bijam, seed, Abhyayam, imperishable. Translation: I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed. Gati means the destination where we want to go, but the ultimate goal is Krishna, although people do not know it. One who does not know Krishna is misled, and his so-called progressive march is either partial or hallucinatory. There are many who make as their designation different demigods, and by rigid performance of the strict respective methods, they reach different planets known as Chandraloka, Suryaloka, Indraloka, Mahaloka, etc. But all such lokas or planets, being creations of Krishna, are simultaneously Krishna and not Krishna. Such planets, being manifestations of Krishna's energy, are also Krishna. But actually they serve only as a step forward for realization of Krishna, to approach the different energies of Krishna. Each to approach Krishna indirectly. One should directly approach Krishna, for that will save time and energy. For example, if there is a possibility of going to the top of a building by the help of an elevator, why should one go by the staircase step by step? Everything is resting on Krishna's energy, therefore without Krishna's shelter nothing can exist. Krishna is the supreme ruler because everything belongs to him and everything exists on his energy. Krishna, being situated in everyone's heart, is the supreme witness. The residences, countries, and planets in which we live are also Krishna. Krishna is the ultimate goal of shelter, and therefore one should take shelter of Krishna either for protection or for annihilation of his distress. And whenever we have to take protection, we should know that our protection must be a living force. Krishna is a supreme living entity, and since Krishna is the source of our generation or the supreme father, no one can be a better friend than Krishna. Nor can anyone be a better well-wisher. Krishna is the original source of creation and the ultimate rest after annihilation. Krishna is therefore the eternal cause of all causes.